write a formula for the rational function whose graph is shown below. So we're going to write a rational function. We have f of x equals, and there's a few things to look at. First of all, we've got an x-intercept here at -1. So that means that the numerator will have an x plus 1 as a factor. Furthermore, we see that the behavior there at -1 is a quadratic behavior. It bounces off the axis, which means that that factor is going to be squared. In the denominator, that comes from our vertical asymptotes. Since x equals -2 is a vertical asymptote, that means x plus 2 will be a factor. And since x equals 1 is a vertical asymptote, that means x minus 1 will be a factor as well. However, we need to look at the exponents of these as well. The -2 asymptote, on both sides, the function is going up. When the function has the same behavior on both sides, here both going up, that means that the exponent must be even. So typically we'll just use a 2 for that. Actually, technically it could be 4 or 6, but we generally just default to the lowest positive even number. And then the x minus 1, that asymptote there, on one side it's going up, and on the other side it's going down. And so when it's different behavior on either side, one going up, one going down, that means the exponent is odd. So we'll go ahead and leave that exponent as a 1. Now finally, we do have this horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, which occurs when the denominator has a higher degree than the numerator, which it does here. We've got now a degree of 3 down there and a degree of 2 up there. So we've got that. However, the last thing that we have to consider is that we do have a y-intercept here of 1. And that means that when we plug 0 in for x, this whole thing should end up being 1. This point here is the point 0, 1. Well, if you plug 0 into this, you don't get 1. Okay, so there's some number out in front, we'll call it a, some unknown constant in front that will make it the 1 that we need. So, in order to find that constant so that our y-intercept is 1, we'll go ahead and plug this point in. So we get 1 equals a times, and then all the x's are zeros. So we have 0 plus 1 squared over 0 plus 2 squared times 0 minus 1. And then we can simplify this. So we have 1 squared on top, which is 1, and a 2 squared, which is 4, times a -1. And so this gives us a times, this is a -1/4. And so to solve for a, we'll just multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this, which is a -4/1 on both sides, -4/1. That'll cancel those out. And we get a equals, this is -4 times 1, which is -4. And so we can take this -4 and plug it in to that spot right there to get our final function. So I'll go ahead and just write that last step. Our final function here is f of x equals -4 times the x plus 1 squared over x plus 2 squared times x minus 1.